Hi everyone, today we are going to see Prometheus Unbound, Act 2. I am Dr. Vinmayil, Assistant Professor of English, Himalayan Pinnacle College for Women, Virudhunagar. We have seen in Act 1, Prometheus feels a very heavy sense of depression, remembering his own happiness in the society of Asia after the spirits departed him. He confesses to Panthea that love is the sole hope that sustains him. So she bids farewell to him and starts her journey to the Himalayan valley, which is far away from the Caucasus mountain. And it is where Asia is waiting for Panthea's arrival. So Act 2, Scene 1 opens at the waiting place of Asia. And Panthea arrives there. Asia compares the sudden and delightful advent of spring in the Himalayan valley to the gush of sudden tears into the dry eyes of a sad man. And when Panthea arrives there, she just compares the waiting and the delay in her arrival to the wingless moments which crawl like death worms. And immediately when she was brooding over Prometheus, Panthea says that since Prometheus' fall, Panthea could no longer sleep well. But today only, after having two dreams, when she wakes up, she just thinks of the two dreams and recollects those memories. And this was the reason for her late arrival. She couldn't remember the second dream, but remembers one which she wants to share with Asia. In dream 1, she could see Prometheus's pale, worn limbs, which appeared in its original form, and his voice was filled with the intoxication of keen joy. And he asked Panthea to look at him, and she could see the overpowering light of the immortal shape, that is, the Titan, Prometheus, whose shape was overshadowed by love. And Panthea finds everything positive when looking into the eyes of Prometheus. And to her now, Prometheus has become a spirit of love, and he has completely wrapped Panthea's consciousness. And this is the first dream which Panthea shared with Asia. And Asia tries to look deep into the eyes of Panthea, in which she could see the shape of Prometheus and his smiles, which were in his original form. And next, Panthea could recollect the dream too, in which she could see the flower buds burst like lightning on almond tree when a wind swept the earth away. And she could enjoy the blossoms which were blown away, and Panthea found that on each leaf which withered away due to the heavy strong wind was stamped follow follow. That means on each leaf it was written as if follow follow, which is a hint for her to follow the spirit's voice or the wind which directed her to somewhere else. And now Asia could recall her own dream, which is similar to Panthea's second dream. And Asia now shares her own dream with Panthea, in which Panthea and Asia walk on the mountains at dawn, on the shadows of the morning clouds and on mountain shape. They could hear the word follow, and they could see everywhere which is written with the word follow, follow. Even on the shadows of the morning clouds and the mountain slope, the same words were written. And Asia found that the voices of the spirit also echo the words follow, follow. Now, both of them could hear the words follow. That means all the crags and spring mock their voices. They listen to the conversations between the sisters and they just echo the words which they again and then again used. That is follow, follow. And in scene 2 we could see Asia and Panthea following the voices of the spirits. They have reached, passing the rocks and caverns, cedar, palm and yew trees, which are curtained out of heaven's wide blue. And it is a dark way. The sun, the moon, the wind or rain cannot pierce through its interwoven bowers. Now we could see semi-chorus of the spirits. There are two groups. The first semi-chorus of the spirits and the second chorus, they just explain the tedious path which Asia and Panthea have to cross to reach the cave of Demogorgon. And they explain the audience that the echo voices which we hear are the voices that attract the souls, the departing souls, to the secret path which may reach the dwelling place of Demogorgon. And we could see two fawns which are conversing about the dwelling place of echo spirits, which are shouting follow, follow, and lead the souls to the cave of Demogorgon. And faun means a mythical creature in Rome myth, and in Greek myth it is called a satyr. This faun is partly goat and partly human. The first faun and second faun leave the place after discussing about the spirits which dwell in earth, in water, in air, in fire. And they are wondering they could live even in bubbles. And they went to milk the she-goats of Silenus. And Silenus is the chieftain of these faunas, a minor deity. And this deity has songs which sing about the fate, chance, God, chaos, and sometimes these songs are mostly about the sufferings of the chained Prometheus and how he will be loosed and make the earth one brotherhood after he gets relieved. And in scene 3 we could see Asia and Panthea reached the pinnacle in the mountains, and there they hear the sound of the echo spirits getting lowered because they have almost reached the realm of Demogorgon. And Asia is wondering at the beauty of the cave, And she says it is the maddening wine of life. And it is a Indian valley. There is a gulf of chasm below filled with the sea of vapor curdling into clouds and isolating the peaks on which they are standing. Midway on the mountain slope is the dark forest with its lawns and streams. There is a wonderful description of the Himalayas, where the lighted caverns and clouds wandering in shifting shades. Above and behind the sea sisters, dawn comes breaking over the ice-covered mountains, and they could hear only the continuous sound of waterfalls melting the ice ravens of spring. This is comparable to the heaven-defying sound of a great thinker. And Asia asking Panthea to listen to the rushing snow. The snow gets melted due to the rise of the sun. So the sun's heat rays just melted away the avalanche, which results in the fall of snow, and the storm just shifted the ice flakes one after another, and Asia sees that it is like loosening great truth which is going to be explored like a scholar's mind. Therefore, she finds this as the revelation, as a symbol for the revelation or the prediction of the revelation of truth, which is going to shake the whole nation. And next in scene 3, we could see the spirits welcoming Asia and Panthea, who have come down through the shade of sleep and cloudy strife of death and of life. And they have seen a veil which is in front of the throne of Demogorgon, and this veil symbolizes the divide between life and eternity. Demogorgon is an underworld spirit, and due to his presence there prevailed a grey void of eternity, which remains the nymphs to be colorless, and the spirits who have been so far depressive turn into passive and submissive and allow themselves to be guided and weak. For it is their weakness that will be strong enough to persuade Demogorgon to unloose the doom of Jupiter beneath his throne. So, the spirits are going to persuade Demogorgon to reveal the secret behind the fall of the Jupiter. And this gives a hope for Asia, that is, the glorious secret is to be revealed soon, which Asia compares to like veiled lightning asleep, like the spark nursed in embers, like last look love remembers, or like the diamond waiting in the dark mine. It's such a treasurable one to Asia and also to the whole world, because it is about the fall of the tyranny. And in scene 4, we could see Asia Panthea confront Demogorgon. In their conversation, Asia was very much focused on getting answer for her question, who made the living world? And Demogorgon repeatedly says it is God. God is the only Almighty who made everything in this world. And Asia asks where with all these tears, madness, horror, love, death, passion, thoughts, everything, are they made by God? Yes, she said. And after knowing that it is God, Asia wants to know about the name. She asks Demogorgon that, utter his name. A world pinning in pain, ask but his name. Curses shall drag him down. As the in suffering under his rule, she wants to know about his name and his fall. And Asia then delivers a long speech on the tyranny of Jupiter and the greatest gift Prometheus has given to the mankind. In that long speech, she says about the first and second era of the world. In the first era of world, there was heaven. Heaven was there, and earth was reigned with a physical world where only light and spiritual love pervades. Darkness and evil only arrive in the second era of the world, when Satan ascended the throne. He cast his shadow over the whole universe. The entire universe in his time lived a life merely of glad physical sensation without having any peaceful mind or spiritual soul. With the revolt of Jupiter against Satan came Prometheus. Remember, here we could see the myth about the creation of the world and the past lives. And now here comes Prometheus along with Jupiter to safeguard the world from the tyrannical, cruel hands of Satan. Prometheus is a symbol of the spirit of progress and benevolence of love in the universe. And he assists Jupiter to attain universal dominion with one condition, that is, Jupiter should not interfere with the new race of mankind created by Prometheus. With this only condition, Prometheus helped Jupiter to bring down Satan. But supreme power in the hands of Jupiter become corrupted into a tyranny of evil, which caused adverse changes in the seasons and the nature of the earth, and thus produced among mankind scarcity of food, necessity of labor, disease, contention, bloodshed, and the need for shelter in caves. As a remedy for all this, Prometheus set among mankind, and he gives hope and love that could bind the joy-bearing minds of humans. And he understands that fire is the first agent of civilization by which man can utilize iron, gold, and all the precious stones. And then speech, which created thought, is the supreme thing invented by man. And Prometheus considers that thought was the greatest gift mankind should have. And so, with that thought, mankind could measure the universe, he could become a poet or prophet, and a man can invent all kind of arts and music, and he could discover the art of medicine and then the laws of astronomy. The man can interlink all the nations with commercial intercourse by having good navigation. And then he finds that with this thought, mankind can build cities, the foundation of stone. Shelley here explains why it is essential for a man should have rational thinking. It is all the ideas of Asia's words are nothing but the words of Shelley. Asia serves as the mouthpiece of Shelley's thoughts. He considers rebellion or free mind only can build good civilized society. And Prometheus, for the sake of Prometheus, Asia is asking too many questions. And she establishes the benevolent thing Prometheus had done to mankind. He gave to man, for which he hangs withering in disdained pain. And for the gift he has given to mankind, Asia said, he hangs himself withering in distinct pain every day. And Demogorgon says all spirits are slaves to evil. And Asia asks, who is Jupiter's master? And Demogorgon replies that you know whether Jupiter is such or not, that is, he is slave or evil. And all her questions, Demogorgon gives an indirect answer. And finally she asks, who is the master of the slave? First she asks, who is God, who created the earth, and God hated it. Who is God then? And he is the Almighty, who has the power to create everything in this world, even the tears and the happiness, whatever it may be. And finally she asks, who is creator of that element of evil which thwarts the splendid destiny of man? And she herself says, who is the Jupiter's master? And he says, Jupiter is evil, only all spirits which are slaves to evil. And finally we see Demogorgon points out that love is the only exception which cannot be enslaved. And he denotes the arrival of immortal lovers. And he points out one of the spirits which is waiting for Asia. And Asia asks about the specialization of the spirit, and it is told that that is the spirit which is the destined hour of Jupiter's overthrow. Asia was very much happy that she was finally answered in a strange manner. And Pantheus said that there is a chariot coming up from its throne, bearing the spirit of the hour of Prometheus' deliverance. So, with dove-like eyes of hope and melodious words of invitation, the ocean nymphs mount the chariot. And now, the spirit of hour of Prometheus' deliverance, with the ocean nymphs Asia and Panthea in his chariot, moves towards their mission of relieving Prometheus. And in scene 5, we could see the spirits celebrating Asia's prominence, and they praise the unique features of Asia, and she is adored as spirit of love in nature, and she is adored as life of life for her enhancing and intensifying vital sensations, and she is prized as child of light for having light as essence of her being even amidst darkness, and so her beauty is invisible, though it is manifested in the soft and musical tones of her voice. And then she is considered as the lamp of the earth because she could fill all the creatures with brightness. And Asia finally compares the spirits to angel helmsmen who could only steer the magic boat of her soul.